Okay, so this briefing really is to focus on all the different steps of registering your new and transferring ECTs for induction tutors. I'm Georgina Crooks, I'm the Assistant Director at the HISP Teaching School Hub. I am the lead for the appropriate body and for the ECF as well. So you'll be hearing lots from me if you haven't already over the coming months and into next year. So as I say, just for those colleagues who are joining us now, the session is being recorded. You will get a copy of the recording and supporting documentations. David is on the chat, so feel free please to pop any questions you have in the chat, and he will hopefully answer those as we go. I think I'll make a start, and sorry, sometimes it is a little bit sticky on here. So what will the session cover? So this briefing, I'm hoping, will just cover who are the contacts at HISP Teaching School who can help you with the registration of your ECTs. Who do I need to register ECTs and mentors with? So what organisations do you need to register them with? What information do you need to have prior to the registration processes? How do you register a new and transferring ECT at each stage of the registration? So I'm going to take you through how to register those with the DFE, how to register them with Education Development Trust as your lead provider, and how to register them with us as HISP Teaching School Hub as your appropriate body. And then hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. So I'm just admitting a few more colleagues into the waiting room there. Okay, so as I've said, just for those colleagues who've just joined us, David is on the chat, so if you do have questions as we go through, please do pop them in the chat, so hopefully he can answer them live for you. So we'll make a start. So who can help you at the Teaching School Hub? There's myself, Georgina Crooks, as the Assistant Director, as I've just said, that I am the ECF and appropriate body lead, so overseeing those provisions for your ECTs at the HISP Teaching School Hub. Justine Bryant, many of you have contacted this year, who can help you with all things ECF, and absolutely brilliant with helping get all the administration for your ECTs and that sorted out. And Emma Gerard, equally brilliant as the appropriate body administrator, and she can help you with anything AB wise. So they are the contacts there at the HISP Teaching School Hub. And obviously you have had great contact with David this year as well. He is still working there, but he is moving roles, looking at more strategic direction of the Teaching School Hub and looking after the MPQ and CPD provision of our Teaching School Hub. Okay, so just move us on. So who do I need to register with? You know, so there's different places that you must register your ECTs with. So who do you need to register them with? Well, you must register each ECT with an appropriate body. Their induction period cannot start officially until they are registered with an appropriate body. So that is one place that they must be registered with. You must also register your ECTs with the DFE. And there it tells you some of the information that you will need to be able to do that, and I will take you through that in the slides that are to come. And you also need to register your ECTs with a training provider as well, and there's sort of different processes to go through depending on if you've worked with them already this year. So 3 organisations that you do need to register your ECTs with: the appropriate body, the DFE, and a training provider. So we're going to take you through those different processes. So I just thought it'd be useful, before we kind of get going in what's a step-by-step process for the registration, is just to give you a slide of all the information that you will need before registering your ECTs with those different organisations. So this is all the information that you should need. I don't think I've missed anything. Please forgive me if I have, but you will need your school's URN number, you will need your school telephone number and address, your head teacher's name and email address, the number of ECTs and mentors joining you or transferring to you, names of any previous names ECTs have had. You'll need home addresses and telephone numbers of ECTs. You'll need the date of birth of ECTs, mentors and induction tutor or tutors. You'll need the TRN number of ECTs, mentors and induction tutors. You'll need the national insurance number of your ECT. You'll need your school email addresses of ECTs, mentors and induction tutors. Your contract details of the ECT, so you'll need to know whether they are employed on a full-time basis, a part-time basis, on a permanent or fixed contract, and what their start date is. You also need to know their phase and subject specialism of your ECTs. You'll need to know the year groups as well your ECT is timetabled for. You'll need to know for transferring ECTs details of the previous school and the appropriate body that ECT was under or the school was using, what ITT route and awarding body the ECTs were part of, and also the ECF programme chosen by the school, whether it's a full induction programme, core induction programme, or the school-based programme. So hopefully that slide you can come back to and gather that information to make that process a little bit smoother as you go step by step. Okay, so let's make a start with this. So how do I register an ECT with the DFE? Okay, so it's sort of the first port of call really here. Sorry, just gets a bit stuck here. So I really think actually in the first step, rather than getting to step one, step 0 is that if you are new to the Educational Development Trust and or you're new to the ECF, so you might be a school and induction tutor who's yet to have any ECTs, and so you have yet to engage with the early career framework. So really the step 0 for you is that you need to complete an expression of interest with the Educational Development Trust, as that is the lead provider we as HISP Teaching School Hub work with. We are the delivery partner for the Education Development Trust. So you do need to create a complete expression of interest form, and then the Education Development Trust communicates that information to the DFE. So when you go in and register your ECTs with the DFE, they can link up your SALs and your ECTs with the lead provider, the Education Development Trust. And you should be able to follow that link or scan that QR code, and it will take you to the EDT's expression of interest form. You complete that and then they will communicate that to the DFE, and you can register with the DFE. Okay, so that step is only for people that are new to Education Development Trust, and haven't worked with the EDT before, and also you might be that school who has yet to have an ECT and work with the ECF. But step 1, once that has happened, so you've all kind of registered that you're working with the EDT, then you need to think about how to register with the DFE if you've not yet had any ECTs. So if you haven't had any ECTs, this is how you register with DFE. I'm hoping these videos are going to play for you, so please do let me know if there's a problem with sound as we go through. So let's just see if they're actually going to play for us.
This short video is for schools who have not previously hosted an early career teacher to explain how they can get themselves set up to use the DFE's managed training for early career teacher service. After 10th of May, any school who has not previously set up an induction tutor with the DFE will be sent an email inviting them to answer the question whether they expect any early career teachers in the next academic year. If a school does not expect to receive any early career teachers next year, they can indicate this, their response will be saved, and the DFE will record that and know not to contact them again until next academic year. However, if they don't know yet and they still want to set up their induction tutor, they can still proceed. Or if they know they're definitely receiving the ECT from September, they can say yes and be invited to nominate who will be acting as their induction tutor at the school. For this, they'll need to provide an induction tutor's name and their email, confirm those details, and then that induction tutor will be emailed a bespoke invite to join and sign into the service. When they click through from their invite, they'll log in with that email that was set up for them. They do not have to set up their own password. The DfE service will send them a bespoke magic link that lets them sign in automatically. The very first time anyone visits the service, they will have to read the privacy policy, which sets out what data is collected and how it's passed on to help organise the induction with the training providers and other bodies. Once they then sign in, they'll be invited to say how they intend to deliver their training. The majority of schools will be using the funded training providers, but they can also choose to deliver their own programme and delivering the DfE accredited materials, or designing and delivering their own programme based on the OCRE framework. If they don't expect any ECTs, again, they can indicate this now, but at a later date, if that changes, they can sign back in and change that. Assuming that they are going to use the DfE funded training provider, that information will be stored against their school dashboard, and they'll be reminded that they can now go and speak to the 6 providers and agree directly with that provider which provider they want to use. The school themselves do not have to tell the DfE which provider they're using. The provider that they reach an agreement will update the DfE directly.
Okay, so that's how to register with the DfE if you've not had any ECTs yet. So we'll just move on. Okay, so when you're registering with the DfE and you're going to be changing lead providers, so I know some schools have been working with a different lead provider in year 1 and they're going to be transferring their year 1 ECTs to work with us, which means that they are having to transfer their lead provider from one to the Education Development Trust. So if they do want to do that, they can indicate this when they set up their training programme on the DfE. On the Managed Training for Early Career Teachers service. So the school will need to confirm the new partnership directly with the lead provider. As I've said before, if you haven't been working with EDT, you will have to fill in that EOI form with the EDT, and they report that partnership with to the DfE. Okay, so just another short video here to how to make some changes on the DfE portal.
This short video demonstrates how schools can set up their ECF training programs for the next academic year who previously were using the service for this academic year. All induction tutors who have previously signed up with the DfE's Managed Training for Early Career Teacher service will be sent an email invitation after 10th of May inviting them to tell us about their ECT training for the next academic year. When they click through on their personalised link and sign in, they'll be presented with their new 2022-23 dashboard and prompted to make sure they know whether they expect any ECTs next year and how they plan to do that training if they want to then set that programme up. If they don't expect any ECTs, they can indicate this now, and if circumstances change later, they can sign back in and update that. But assuming they are expecting ECTs again, they'll be asked to confirm whether or not they wish to continue using the same training provision that they did this year. If they do plan on making a change, they'll be asked what type of change they want to make and shown instructions of what they need to do next. And then once they've done that, they can add details of the new early career teachers and mentors. Assuming they don't wish to make any changes, that will be confirmed. And then again, they can go back to their dashboard and get ready to add details of the early career teachers and mentors for that year.
Okay, so that's if you need to make a change from your lead provider, that could help you there. So some of you will also be having to register with the DfE, transferring ECTs and mentors. So when ECT or mentor has started training at another school and is going to be joining your school in September, the induction tutor can now administer most transfers themselves directly with the DfE Training for Early Career Teachers service. To be able to do that, you will need the name, email, TRN, date of birth and national insurance number. It says it's optional there, but it's worth having all as much information as possible. And you will also need to notify the appropriate body, but we'll come to the AB registration information later on in this presentation. Okay, so just another short video. I promise I'm nearly finished now, but here is how you register new and transferring ECT and mentors on the DFE.
This short video shows how a school induction tutor can use the DFE's Managed Training for Early Career Teachers service to register the details of any new ECTs beginning their induction with them next academic year, and also how they can add details of any early career teachers transferring to them partway through their induction from another school. Once the school induction tutor has signed in to the DFE service, they will first need to pick whether they are adding new ECTs to an existing cohort, i.e. transferring through, or brand new ECTs beginning induction this year. Once they click to add, they will be asked to confirm that it is a brand new ECT or mentor. They will need to provide their full name. If the induction tutor has the early career teacher's TRN and date of birth to hand, this will speed up the validation and eligibility confirmation process far more quickly. But if they don't have it, that's not a problem because it can be collected later. You simply need to say that they're going to be starting next term. If they are using one of your mentors already registered with the school, then you can select them. And if you need to add somebody later, you can choose to do that. Confirm the details. And then that ECT will have been registered and any details passed to your school's training provider if applicable. However, if the ECT that is joining you actually began their induction at another school and they are partway through induction, for this, the induction tutor will need to know the teacher reference number and date of birth so we can identify that record at the previous school. Once they've entered those details, they'll again be prompted to say when induction is starting at your school, whether there's a mentor, and then they'll be asked if the induction program they were following at their previous school is going to need to change now that they're transferring to your school. Ideally, an ECT will follow one training provider through the entirety of their induction, but if it is decided better for that ECT to follow your school's arrangements, then you'll be able to indicate that they will not be continuing with their current provider and will instead be using your provider. Once those details are confirmed, notifications will be sent to any of the affected training providers with the update about the school transfer, and the full details of the ECT or mentor will be sent on to the current training provider.
Okay, and just before we move on there, the DFE said you don't need the TRN number of your ECT if they are new to you, but the ECT will get an email requesting that they do update the DFE with their TRN, and I would urge you to follow that up in September, or once you have got that once the ECT has their TRN number, because it does need that information does need to go on the DFE portal, and it does make the process much quicker if you do have that information. Okay, so that's the DFE, all the different stages of how to get yourself registered, your ECTs registered on the DFE. Step 2 is just getting yourself in your school, your ECTs registered with the Education Development Trust as the lead provider. We as HISP Teaching School work with as the delivery partner. Okay, so really, if you're already working with the EDT, you don't need to fill in that EOI because the information, once you register with the DFE communicate with the Educational Development Trust that you are working with them, and So that kind of communication is all done between the DfE and the EDT, and you should, once it's all been registered, we as the HISP teaching school, or Justine as the administrator, she will send you welcome packs to participants. So really that should be a nice onboarding process, should be nice and simple with the EDT, hopefully. Okay, if you've got transferring ECTs, we've already gone through how to do that on the DfE. Again, the DfE will send that transferred information to the EDT, and they will collect the correct information from us as a delivery partner, so we can make sure that they get access to the online platform and all the materials that they need. Okay. Again, the replacement mentor process. So if a school's withdrawing or deferring a mentor or a mentor place, you need to do that via us as the delivery partner, and then the school can register the replacement mentor on the DfE portal. So if you do know you've got mentors that are leaving your school, please do let Justine know that they are leaving and they won't be mentoring for you going into the next academic year, so we can ensure that information is accurate with the EDT, and then we'll kind of manage that process for you. So please do email Justine if you do know there is mentors withdrawing or that do need replacing, so we can communicate that information to the EDT for you. If we've got any participant information, that a change request, name changes or anything like that that's going to occur over between now and September, for your ECTs, perhaps that they are going into year 2, or there's any withdrawal or changes in that respect, please again do let us know, and then we can manage and update that information for you with the EDT. If you've got more than one induction tutor, now many schools are going down this model now to be able to manage and coordinate the number of ECTs that you're going to have across year 1 and year 2. Please, on the DfE, you are only able to register one induction tutor, but if you want to have multiple induction tutors linked to your ECT, then please, you need to send the information to us as your delivery partner. So again, email Justine with the information about which induction tutors need to be linked up to which ECTs. Okay, and then we can inform the Educational Development Trust for you of that information, okay, and we can make sure all that is accurate for you. So again, just if you've got more than one induction tutor, please, we do need to know about which induction tutor you're registering with the DfE, and then your extra induction tutors that you want registered with the EDT, please do let us know at HISP. Okay, so part 3 is getting your ECTs registered with the appropriate body. And again, the link there to take you to ECT Manager to get registered, and the QR code, it should all take you there once you get these slides and that information. Okay, so registering with the appropriate body, many of you will already be using ECT Manager, so really it's a login process and then adding in the new details of your ECTs. If you haven't worked with us as your appropriate body before, and maybe perhaps you haven't used ECT Manager, you do need to register your school with us and choose the HISP Teaching School Hub as your appropriate body, and then we can ratify your registration, and then you can get registering your ECTs. So it does depend on whether you're already logged in and using us as appropriate body or not, in terms of what steps you need to take with this stage of the registration process. To register your school, you just click on that button and it should take you through all these details that you will need to put in, and you'll get a password then and confirm passwords. And again, if you do have any problems here, it's Emma Gerard at that email address that can support you with the registration here. And once you've done that, you can start registering your ECTs as shown on the slide. And when you're registering the ECTs, you can select the induction type. So it's a 2-year induction. So, and if any of you are in fact onboarding any legacy NQTs, then if they kind of started their induction prior to 31st of August 2021, then you'll need to press that second tab there. But if you're unsure, please do get in touch with us so we make sure they are registered on the right induction programme. You'll then get asked to include all your ECT's personal details, and these go to the Teacher Regulation Agency, which then verify those for us to check that the ECT is able to follow the induction programme. The TRN at this moment is essential here, so you do need that TRN number, and you'll need the last name and date of birth must exactly match what the ECT has registered with the TRA. Now, we are obviously aware that if you're onboarding an ECT following an ITT route, they might not get their TRN number until perhaps even August. So this is something that you can start the process with, but it might not be able to be complete with the AB until September. But it's really important that you do register your ECTs with the appropriate body, because their induction process doesn't start until that is registered. Even if they are up and running with the ECF training programme, that induction period doesn't start until they are registered and have a start date with the AB. And so after you've managed to get the TRN number and put that up onto ECT Manager, then you get asked details about the ECT's contract details, and I've given you a list of all the details that you will need there to take you through those next steps of registration. Following that, you'll be asked about the training details. So their qualifications, what qualifying subjects they followed in their ITT year, and the age ranges, what phase of education that they are qualified for. You'll then get asked about your ECT's home contact details. So again, that's you will need that information from HR. You'll then need to select what ECF programme that they are funding. Most of you are all following the funded training provider programme from the DFE, but some of you are following the core induction programme or the school-based programme. So just make sure you do choose the correct training programme here. And then you need to confirm, you get a registration confirmation of all the details. You can check that what you've inputted is correct, and you'll get the click here. And actually here at this moment, the head teacher will need to digitally sign the registration form, confirming the details are correct and the ECT's post is a suitable one for induction, and they will be given a few questions we've put up for them to actually tick that they are comfortable that the post that they have employed their ECT for is appropriate for induction. They are also, by digitally signing, they are also saying that they have done all their DBS and QTS checks as well. So if you have got transferring ECTs for an AB, so they've used a different AB than us, this in a year 1 induction, then that record does need to move with them. However, that doesn't happen automatically. So we contacted the TRA about the process for this, and we've been advised that actually it's the responsibility of the head teacher to contact the previous AB to request the paperwork of their ECT, so their progress reviews and their formal assessment and any support plans perhaps that the ECT has been on in year 1. But if you inform us, please, of the existing AB and the school that they were working with, we will take that work on for you, and we will request from their old AB the existing paperwork and get that uploaded to ECT Manager. So please, if you do have a transferring ECT that wasn't using us as their AB before, then please let us know what AB they were with, and what school they were with, and we will contact that AB and collect that paperwork for you to just try and minimise your workload and the ease of registration for you.